Hi, I'm Jennifer Barzo, and we are here to talk about grit today. And today I have Meredith. And before I introduce who Meredith is, grit stands for growth, resilience, intention, and tenacity. And Meredith is going to be a participating author in Tenacity. So who is Meredith?
Well, thanks for having me, Jennifer. So, who is Meredith? That's a really deep question. But on the surface level, Meredith is a wife, a mother to a beautiful 10-and-a-half-year-old daughter. I am a leader in the community. I have the honor of serving as the president and CEO of the St. Louis Area Foodbank. I'm a daughter. I'm an Army veteran. I'm a lot of things in a lot of different spaces. We're mom, right? So all of the different things.
So talking about tenacity, a lot of those themes show up in a lot of the background and titles that you carry. What was that like to step into the role to feed St. Louis?
You know, it's challenging. So as I said, I took on the role back in February of 2018, and I had a predecessor who was there for almost 30 years and had done amazing work. So I came in, with a kind of a different vision, and the board said, hey, we want to kind of think this differently about how we're feeding people. And then we had a flood. And then we had to learn how to deliver food to people on boats. I'm an Army veteran, so we don't do boats. And so they said, well, how much food do we put on the boat? I said, well, when the boat starts sinking, stop putting food on it. And they kind of looked at me. I'm like, well, I don't really know. And then we got through that. And then we had the COVID-19 pandemic. So for the past 3 years, the world just shut down overnight. We left work on Friday and came back Monday. And we were told, we can't have people in the building. And oh, by the way, we have to feed more people than ever before. And there's no playbook, right? So I remember my daughter telling me, Mom, what did you do last time? And I said, honey, there wasn't a last time. So I said, so if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, there's probably a reason. And so what I told the team is that we're going to do two things. I said, we're going to keep our team safe and we're going to keep our doors open. I said, so every day we're going to show up and we're just going to figure it out and we're going to make it till tomorrow and then we're going to make it to the next day. And through that, we kind of build that strength, that tenacity, if you will, to just change our perspective. When the world was shutting down, everyone was scared and fearful, and rightly so. And it's how you show up and how you choose to have your perspective about what it is. And so we just did that every day, and we continue to do that now with COVID waning a little, but now we have the economy the way that it is, and we've got people struggling with basic needs, which is feeding themselves and their family. So again, here we are with limited resources trying to figure out a way to say yes when everyone else is saying no.
Wow. And all I can see is you showing up for people who really need you right now, and you still leaning into your courage to continue that fight. What are some of those mantras, and how do you keep that courage and that tenacity lit?
There's so many, whether it's quotes about judging me not by my successes, but how many times I fell down and got back up again. I think it's just choosing how you show up every day. The members of our executive leadership and I have some T-shirts that I found online that says, the comeback is always greater than the setback, right? And so I think it's just perspective. And you can find those a dime a dozen right on the internet, but it really is a simple choice because it would be very easy to kind of sit in this woe is me or this victim or this why is all of this happening, or choosing to show up and say, you know what? I can't control any of this. I can control this. And I know that right now people are counting on me and counting on the food bank to provide basic life necessities such as food for themselves and their family. So that's what keeps us going, because at the end of the day, it's actually not about me and it's not about the food bank. It's about the people in our community that are counting on us to put food on the table. And that's what keeps us going, is realizing that it's a mission and it's a calling that is much bigger than any one of us.
That's just truly inspiring. And I can't imagine how many lives that you've touched. And obviously our community has recognized that with you being highlighted as top Titan. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
So what's next for you?
What's next is really keeping the food bank on this path to really be more than just a food bank. So we've done incredible innovations around our program and delivery models. We have now 34 school markets, which are food pantries, but they're inside schools. And so it's helping to destigmatize the need for someone to have to ask for help in the first place. We have food on the move. And so these are huge tractor trailers that are grocery stores on wheels going out into our community. But what's also most exciting is we're talking about ending hunger. We're talking about getting people connected to resources. So we have our different pillars. We nourish people, we empower people, and we transform communities. And that's the exciting part, is that, our hope is that in short time, we'll be able to see the numbers of people decrease that need our help. And that's going to take a whole community coming together. And that's where I think the St. Louis Area Food Bank has a really unique role to play in terms of convening people, bringing people to the table, and in some communities, adding more seats at that table.
So I think it's really inspiring with all that you've accomplished in the 5 years that you've been in this organization. So who are some of the influences in your life to teach you how to have that tenacity, or is that just ingrained in your DNA?
Tenacity or stubbornness, either way. So in my family, starting off is, it's kind of this, never say quit, and like, you just don't give up. That's not an option. Failure is not an option. That's kind of a military thing. But then I also have, friends and people who serve on our board, and people in my network who are just there cheering us on, and are there to support and are there to call and say, hey, if you need help with this, here it is. And that's, I think, the most important thing for people to realize, is that nobody is going to get to where they are on their own. It really takes a village to do that. So when everyone is talking about celebrating successes, it's about the community's success. It's never about one person. And like I said, I have the honor and privilege right now of serving as the president and CEO, but my job is to take care of and support every one of those employees that call the food bank home, to help them realize their potential so they can do and give and provide the most to our community.
Well, that just shows how gritty of a leader you are. That just filters, because you have empowered all of your teammates to then lead and have that tenacious personality and perseverance. And I love that the influencers in your life are very much attributed to your parents and just never given up.
Yes.
So as you envision what your chapter is going to look like in Tenacity, what is some of the messaging that you really want to have shine through for the reader?
I think it's going to be a couple things. And of course, I haven't started writing it yet, but I think it's going to be about the power of perspective, and that every opportunity gives you a chance to see things from a different lens. It's going to be about the power of building bridges and relationships and community. And it's just going to be about the power of really that positivity and not letting yourself ever settle for less or give in. Or sometimes I call it the, what's right and what's easy. It's the easy road is easy, right? If it was, anyone would do it. But sometimes doing what's right is a little harder. It can be a little bit controversial. Not everyone might like your decisions or support them, but it's having to have that faith and confidence that what you're doing is for the right reason and for the greater good. And again, it's not about any one of us individually. I think that's all going to shine. I learned a lot of these lessons in the military, candidly, being a young platoon leader and then a company commander overseas, and all of the deployments that I served with, and some amazing men and women. And then really to go to different countries and see what real suffering looks like, right? And knowing that we were there for, 8, 9, 10, 12 months, but we had the opportunity to come home. And for those people, that might have been as good as it was ever going to get. And so there's always that perspective that is so, so very important. So I think that's also going to show up in Tenacity and saying, like, look, it's a simple choice. Right? You can always take a break or take a knee, but you've got to get back up again.
Right. That's inspiring. And obviously, as a female in the military, that right there took a lot of, courage and bravery. And being a platoon leader at such a young age, that's just inspiring. The theme is persistent. Is there any final words that you would like to share of how we can help you, or how we can help your work, or anything that you're doing that we can be there for you? Because it sounds like you're such a servant leader. And how can we show up for you?
Sure. Well, I think it's important that everyone realize, and this is something we say at the food bank, that hunger can affect anyone, but anyone can affect hunger. So I think that would be the challenge that I would like to issue to people, is to, visit our website, stlfoodbank.org. They can give financially. They can host a food drive in their community. They can volunteer with us, but everyone has the capacity to do something. I know, like I said, my daughter's 10 and a half now. She's obviously been volunteering at the food bank since she was 5 and a half. And just to see her growth and her understanding, and encourage families out there, get your kids involved. Teach them the importance of giving back. Teach them the importance of helping someone, because a little kindness can go a long way in our world. But that's what I would challenge everyone to do, is find a way to get involved. And if it's not with the food bank, Maybe it's with one of our 561 food pantries across the 26 counties. Or if that's not your idea that you want to support, find a nonprofit organization. This community is so fortunate to have so many wonderful people doing wonderful work. So whether it's housing or homelessness or animals or foster care, whatever it is that lights your fire, get involved. Do not stand by the sidelines. There are too many people that can be inspired by you without you even realizing it.
That's beautiful. And I want to thank you for your time today. And I'm excited to read your chapter when you do start writing and participating in Tenacity. Yes. So thank you for being, yes, absolutely. So thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.